Mudd, and this is my cheat sheet for Wednesday, September 28th. You realize that on Saturday we're in October? Anyway, healthcare costs. It's something we continue to talk about near every day, right? One thing we know is that it continues to cost more and more all the time. The bigger problem here is that it continues to rise at an unsustainable rate, right? I mean, that's why we had healthcare reform and everything else. In fact, when we put a couple of the stories I have today together, it's really bad news. Real incomes have actually dropped for 2 consecutive years. 1.1% 2 years ago, 0.6% last year. Healthcare costs continue to rise. We see the net of all healthcare costs increase about 9% over the last year. So you do the math on that. You are making on average 1% less money, and you're paying on average 9% more for healthcare costs. Now, employers, if you're on an employer-sponsored plan, are picking the majority of that up. But either way, you're still falling behind year after year with healthcare costs. Here's something more significant, though. For the first time, we were able to get information about the actual impact of healthcare reform and the cost associated with it to you. In year one, we had 2 changes that went into effect. The first was allowing adults up to age 26 to stay on their parents' plans. The others were insurance companies not being able to turn down people based upon pre-existing conditions. Now, I had mentioned that this would have an immediate impact on the cost of health care. Now we know just how much. When you put those two together, more than 2.3 million people stayed on family plans that would otherwise perhaps not have been on a family plan. The net result of it was an increase in cost of 3.5% to 4% on top of the other healthcare rising cost increase for last year. In other words, in the event that we did not have healthcare reform, the average insurance plan right now would be 3.5% to 4% less expensive than it was in year one. Now, there are plenty of politics associated with it. You know I'm no fan of healthcare reform. Some person that might have their son or daughter on their healthcare plan until age 26 might like it. Somebody with pre-existing conditions might like it. The average person, though, is paying more as a result of it, and that's where, at some point, this system breaks because we cannot continue to see the cost increases that we're seeing year after year. It's simply not sustainable. Now, I did mention that for the second consecutive year, real incomes actually fell. That's awful news. What we actually found out, though, that was even more substantial than that, is that for the first time since 1984, recession or not, we as consumers in the United States of America actually spent less money. We had not done that since 1984. We spent 2% less money. What that tells you is that the economy not being in a recession over that same period of time, that it's all based upon business and government spending. A lot of people have been going, hey, why aren't businesses hiring more? Well, there's your answer. If we're spending 2% less money, of course businesses aren't going to be hiring more. 2/3 of all hiring takes place with small businesses. Unless the cash register rings more, they aren't going to hire, and the cash register is actually ringing less. Therein lies our problem. There are a lot of answers in that story. Google Plus, red hot week 1. 15 plus million unique users week 1. And here's the other thing I'll tell you. Every single person I know that has tried Google Plus so far likes it more than Facebook. We might be talking about MySpace too. Or, remember when Facebook was such a big deal in 2011? It's too early to throw dirt on Facebook yet, but remember, just like Netflix, nobody is loyal to the brand of Facebook. They're loyal to the service it provides. If a better service is out there, people will go to it. We've seen it time and again with technology. Apple. They are going to have their big event October 4th. That's next Tuesday. And if you don't have an invitation, guess what? You're not invited because they went out yesterday. No real news here. We know it's going to be about the iPhone 5. Here is one little bonus for you, though, if you are a Facebook user and an iPad owner. The long-awaited Facebook app for the iPad and iPad 2 will be released next Tuesday. So you'll be able to integrate with your social media a little bit better with your tablet. And here's a tax that was proposed that you might not have heard about yet. We've heard about the wealthy paying their fair share, according to the president. How about flyers? The president doesn't think apparently you're paying your fair share quite yet either. He also called for a tax increase in his plan that we're just finding out about that would raise the amount that you pay for TSA by $2.50 immediately. There also would be a $100 per plane takeoff fee that would be put in place. The net effect of this, for large airports, you'd be paying immediately $3.23 more per ticket. For smaller airports, up to $15 more per person. And the tax continues to rise 50% are 50 cents per ticket per year through 2017. But you might like to know that. That's the cheat sheet for today. We'll see you tomorrow.